Esteemed committee speakers and guests, on behalf of our 42,000 nurses, we're honored to share our experiences and analysis of the health impact of colonization on the people of Puerto Rico. As nurses, we care for patients in illness, injury, and health, but also have the unique capacity to interact intimately with families and communities, allowing us to obtain critical information regarding the social determinants of health. It's been proven that these elements directly influence morbidity, mortality, and the quality of people's lives. We've testified in the past regarding historic inequities existing in Puerto Rico compared to the U.S. in the environmental and social conditions contributing to ill health and in the provision of health services. We spoke of the eugenic component of U.S. corporate experimentation resulting in the illegal sterilization of 1/3 of Puerto Rican women of childbearing age and the illicit use of Puerto Rican women as guinea pigs in the development of oral contraceptives. Even prior to the climate change-induced hurricane disasters that hit Puerto Rico last year, the population's health status was the worst in the nation. We noted higher indices of morbidity, mortality, diabetes, cardiovascular, and pulmonary diseases, and end organ failure. The end products of environmental waste and toxins far more prevalent in Puerto Rico than in the U.S., such as poisonous dumps, detritus from military exercise, most dramatically seen in Vieques, water contamination from the pharmaceuticals and other industries, coal ash deposits, fuel exhaust due to the absence of rail transport, dangerous pesticides, all contribute to cancers, respiratory, and endocrine disorders. We saw inadequate access to nutrition, the effect of forced countryside emigration, and the profitable to colonizers' one-crop economy decimated a diverse agricultural mecca. The Jones Act impact on food imports made healthy food unaffordable. Lucrative profits generated by a fast food industry provided a disproportionate element of the diet, all leading to a geometric increase in chronic diseases. Discriminatory federal funding, reimbursement formulas, and the privatization of health services created an overwhelming lack of access and care. Every statistical analysis supports these inequities. Austerity imposed prior to and worsened by the Promesa Act via cuts to basic services and safety net provisions led directly to an unprecedented mass migration of unemployed and underemployed health professionals, further reducing access to care. This untenable situation transformed into a form of genocide, giving the U.S. government's apathetic and incompetent response to the devastation after Hurricane Maria in 2017. The austerity-imposed disintegration of the electrical grid and the criminal neglect of its repair post-Maria directly contributed to the deaths of thousands of people. As nurses, we provided emergency care shortly after the hurricanes. We continued to send brigades of medical volunteers for months afterwards. And if not for the people of Puerto Rico and the solidarity efforts of others, the death count, covered up for nearly 9 months, would be much higher than the approximately 5,000 that were reported in a recent study. I cared for families who suffered the trauma of helplessly watching ill relatives die before their eyes, unable to get to the few functioning hospitals or operate electrical life-saving equipment. Without refrigeration in morgues, families quietly buried loved ones in the backyards. Preventable illnesses and injuries grew at unprecedented proportions. Skin lesions became cellulitis, sepsis, and ultimately death. Black mold from flooding worsened asthma, pneumonia, and chronic pulmonary problems. The loss of homes and livelihoods, the exile of populations, the lack of governmental response to rescue, repair, and recover led to massive post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and suicide. The austerity imposed by an unelected fiscal board designed to pay hedge funds who were responsible for much of the debt in the first place, rather than heal the nation, only worsens these problems. The health crisis in Puerto Rico can only begin to be resolved with the cancellation of the illegal debt, the dismantling of the fiscal junta, the repeal of the Jones Act, and efforts, including pressure on behalf of the international community, that provide for a supportive pathway to Puerto Rican autonomy and self-determination. Thank you.